Hello everyone and welcome to the 16th episode of Open Talk. So today we're going to talk and discuss about a really hot topic, which is IELTS. So we have today our two lovely guests, which is Việt Khôi and Thục Anh. So can you guys introduce yourself to the audience?
What am I supposed to say? What do you want me to say?
So you can say your name, your age, and how is it going in your life and stuff.
Okay. My full name is Việt Khôi, but usually people call me Michael around here. I'm currently 17. I'm turning 17 this October, and I study in Mary Curie High School. Well, for how things are going in my life, I think it's fine. I've gotten a lot of motion, well, in recent weeks because I did a summer camp, my mom's summer camp with a few active skills students here. So I definitely been moving around a lot.
Okay, so for you?
Hi, so you probably already know my name's Tuan because she just said that, and I'm about to turn 17 this year, and I'm currently a student at Hanoi Amsterdam High School, which is quite near this English center, so it's really convenient for me to go, and it's application season right now, so it's really stressful for me. Sometimes I want to commit defenestration on myself, but I am hanging on.
So you choose are all in grade 12, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in my freshman year right now, so I've definitely have gotten through what have you two of you guys have gotten through for the whole year, like preparing for admission and for the test, all the stuff. Really tired, right? But good luck, and I think
Thanks.
you will pass it with flying colors.
I'm gonna need that.
Okay, so before we get into our main topic, which is IELTS, I'm going to ask you some questions about how do you learn English and stuff. So first, before you prepare IELTS, from when you were little to now, how do you learn English in general?
Well, the earliest recollection of me in English was when my dad bought a CD for the alphabet, for how to learn the alphabets, and the images that were on those CDs were so enticing to me that I just had to sit down and kind of listen. Of course, when I was 3 at the time, so I just kind of absorbed the little sounds that any sound that I could, and then over the course of from kindergarten to elementary school, I would try to imitate those sounds unconsciously without knowing 70% of the message inside of those little sentences and phrases. So it was until around I was in 2nd grade, I started to watch a channel, a really old channel. I don't know if it's still on YouTube right now. It's called Annoying Orange. Basically, it's this orange, and he would make other fruits that have faces on them, say funny stuffs, and be in weird shenanigans situations, and I found that really funny. It was one of my first encounter with humor and a bit crude humor on YouTube. So that the kind of conversations and the situations that they would have on there was very naturalistic. So I found that to be a very different way of English compared to what I was exposed to from early on. So I tried my best to absorb those information, and somewhere along the line I kind of succeeded because around 4th grade I got a lot of comments from relatives saying that, wow, my English is getting very westernized and my my accent sounds very good and stuff like that. And so yeah, from there onwards, I got the encouragement. I felt like a bit of a liking to like learning this English thingy, so I continue on.
Okay, what about you?
Well, English for me has always been some kind of like academic achievement because ever since I was small, I've always sucked at all the things. I'm pathetic at math. I suck at literature and geography, history, all that stuff. I'm an absolute abomination. But English was something that I could like actually hold on to, something that I like actually had some sort of liking and some affinity to it. So I continue to like cling on that pathetically, I might add, because it's been like what 12 years now, and I've always used that as some sort of like backbone for my confidence because it's something that I've always been okay at, and because it's one of the only thing that I'm okay at, I continue to just cling to it, and it just keeps building up and up, and most of my English knowledge education is obtained through academic lessons and classes, and ever since I was small, my mom always like just sent me to like a bunch of English classes. It was a lot, and so that's how I got into English.
So, okay, that's remarkable of how you learned English and stuff. Okay, so on your journey to learn English and improve your English on whole, why did you choose active skills to be the center that helped you to build that English stuff? Yeah,
Well-
I'm gonna ask one first.
Okay, so honestly, at first was because of the proximity to my house, because it was near, and I needed some kind of classes to like help polish my skills. But the thing that actually made me stay was the way active skills approach its lesson. Honestly, when I first set foot here, it was for some sort of intensive class, and I was expecting loads of coursework and just academic writing and all that jazz. Like, I was used to it, so I wasn't really expecting anything other than that, and I was pleasantly surprised when I actually got into the class and I was introduced to like all sorts of global problems and debates and stuff. Like, not at all those use of English bull crap that I'm teach in class, but it's actually like utilized in real life. And I got hooked, I got interested, and I continue to sign up for classes after that.
For you?
Well, for me in particular, I've had a quite me and active skills go all the way back in like 2017, 2018, back when this place was not called active skills. This place was OEC, and it was located in like way back in Longda district.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't have, well, like just like any other like English centers that I've been to, it was my mom's idea to get me to this place first. It was never my idea because, well, I was like in 4th grade. What kind of, what do I know, right? So, but for some reason, I always find myself to stick around here. It's always because like it's always got something to do with the atmosphere here, the hominess, coziness, the easygoingness, and the sense of like community that everyone has around here. And you know, it's just active skills is a really fun place to be. So that's why I always find myself coming back to this place, even though I part ways a lot to do my own thing. And I find that to be a very good thing, valuable thing.
Yeah, I have kind of the same experience as you guys too. I've been with active skills since like OEC, Open English Club, and back then I was just grade 4 or grade 5, if my memory serves me right. And I did a lot of, not lessons, but it's like an outdoor activities out there at some parks and stuff. So I got really interested in how I used English at that time, like playing games, talking to people. And then after that, I attended the first class at Active Skill. To be honest, I was kind of shocked back then because I have to use English a lot, not just doing some grammar exercises, but also really have to get the inside knowledge of the projects that I have to do, like PowerPoint, public speaking, and then when I attend more classes and get higher in some more courses, I attain a lot of like knowledge and skills. That's like kind of helped me a lot in school, like paraphrasing, analyzing and filtering information and stuff. Yeah, so I think active skill has helped me a lot in achieving a lot of things in my English learning journey. Okay, so I think now we will get into our main parts of today. IELTS, is it tough? Is it easy? And how do we kind of achieve the score band that we want? So I'm gonna ask you, how did you feel when you get that such a high IELTS score? I'm gonna ask you first.
I was ecstatic, I almost pissed my pants, dude. Because I wasn't expecting the results to come so soon, so I was so surprised when I saw the email. I was just lounging on my seat with my feet on the table, like really chilling in the night, and suddenly I hear that little ping, and then I saw the top of my screen, it says IDP IELTS, and I freaked out. I almost knocked my glass of water off the table, and when I clicked on it, because the IDP website it's honestly really crap. It's slower than like, I don't know, a turtle or something. So I was really impatient and like kind of panicky too, because like, what the hell, man? Why is it so fast? It says that the results will be available in like 3 to 5 days, and by then it's only been like 24 hours. And so when it finally came through, I went like yippee with a lot of thrill, because I was honestly expecting like 7.5 or 8, because I felt like I did do well in the reading and the writing. And when I saw the 8.5, I immediately went to tell my mom and dad to go in their faces.
Okay, how about you?
This is literally like two opposite ends of the spectrum. I was devastated.
Why?
When I got the 8. Basically, I thought, because I took my test on the computer, I kind of expected it for the results to come early, but I didn't expect the results to come in like 2 or 3 days. So when I heard a notification from British Council, I didn't really expect that. I had mental preparations, of course, but initially I kind of expected an 8, which I got, but when I received the each individual scores from 4 skills, I don't know, man. It's like a lot of the marks on there, it was not what I expected it to be. Especially speaking, I got like 7.5, which my bare minimum aim was like 8. So I was pretty much in a rut. I was not able to get out of my cloudiness in the mind. So I went to unfortunately I vented on a lot of my friends and even Miss D. So but from there onwards, when I like got the advice from a lot of my friends and especially Miss D, I realized that I didn't really get the big picture, and I was clouded in my expectations. So when I received my results, I contemplated on like retaking the exam, but when I heard like words of advice and encouragement from Miss D, thank you, I was opened up, and I suddenly had a lot of realizations about how IELTS doesn't really assess the whole spectrum of skills and assess the whole picture of you, and that'll come later. So now I'm pretty content with my score.
Yeah, I think after all, IELTS score, it is just a score, and it is just a test, and it is just a certificate to, it's like, it's not meant to to say who you are on a whole. It's just score. So it can be on and off based on what you did on that day, and it also the topic that you got to answer on the speaking test that day. For me, my speaking score was not as high as I expected it to be, because that day the topic was really off what I have prepared. Not what I have prepared, but it's not the thing that I like to talk about and I wanted to talk about. So it was not as high as I want. But after all, we all get that aim high score, that band score, and that band will help us a lot in the future. So it's just a score, and what's important is how you can use English, so like naturally and useful as a whole. Okay, so in order to get that high score, you have to prepare, I think, a lot. So we'll get into the reading skill first, right? Okay, I want to ask to Anh. So how did you learn? How did you acquire your reading skills? Not only IELTS, but also as a learning English as a whole.
I fumbled reading. But, well, honestly, I didn't do any preparation for reading, so I guess I deserve that reading. I think the go-to response would be to just read anything, but for me, my biggest source of like reading knowledge is a really cool website called Archive of Our Own. So it's like a website where you can search for like fanfics and
It's okay. It's okay.
and stories of your own volition, like something that you could. It's really like specific and niche. So if you want something angsty, you want something fluffy, you could just go to the tags and you would get something right up your alley. And I found that by reading something that's right up my interest, I could like easily absorb the material. And honestly, AO3 is the reason why I got into my high school at all. And honestly, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Ever since I discovered that website, my English has been like going strength to strength, honestly. Like academic English doesn't hold a candle to that godsend.
I think learning from your hobby is the best way, right?
Yeah.
You can enjoy while learning something. Me too. I remember when I was in grade 9, I was binge watching the Sherlock Holmes series. Was played by Benedict Cumberbatch, I remember. And after I watched the whole 3 seasons of that series, my English just boosted up. Like, I don't know why. I just kind of like speak better, read better and stuff after the series. And also my accents get British. And just sometimes after I watched that series, my accent get back to normal after those years. So for you, how did you learn reading?
This is a shameful story. I back in like middle school, my entire dictionary, my entire discography of reading was Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Harry Potter, and I thought it was good, and I thought that was good for me, and I went on for the entire like 6th, 7th to 8th grade, just having read those books and thinking that was like enough for me, because I was always more of a auditory learner. I never liked to read. I hated reading, so I always, unfortunately, I didn't really have the intellectual capabilities back then. So I gravitated towards things that were easy to understand and things that were naturalistic in reading, because that came from like speaking a lot and watching YouTube videos. That was up until I attended like a reading course from outside Active Skills, and that was the first time I encountered like academic papers from various sources, mostly from like The Guardian and many other news sites, and I was floored. I like I didn't know like that kind of English existed, which is a shame to admit, but it's true. That's my story. So so from then on, I discovered that that type of papers, that type of articles, were very similar to the ones that showed up in like IELTS. So I decided to pick up on it, try to like learn how the pros of those articles, and eventually I kind of got the hang of it. And so unlike Tuang, whose reading is like a hobby, I didn't like reading. I only came across it on like unintentionally, and I built up on it. So it's always this kind of second language to me. Academic readings, academic papers were like not like a part of me. It's something that I had to pick up on, like as like something that I had to do.
Okay. So I want to ask you some questions. So when you actually do the exercises in the reading IELTS test, so how do you do it? Do you read the whole paragraph, or you just skim through it, or read the question first?
I don't know. They teach me all these kinds of things, skimming and scanning and stuff, but I'm not a very organized person by nature. So sometimes I do the skim and scan thingy. Sometimes I just read. Sometimes
It's the same for me.
yes, because I've always found no difference between like reading the whole thing and then skimming and scanning. Sometimes skimming and scanning is kind of counterintuitive, because not every time does like the heading and the first and the final sentence of a paragraph like summarizes everything. So I find that skimming and scanning is very like not very useful, because it doesn't cover every situation. So my go-to is still to read everything.
So let's move on to listening. Okay. So for you, do you find listening hard, or is it easy?
I think listening is like the lesser of the two evils. And I like listening. Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think listening is like a lot more straightforward than reading, and you don't really have to do much like academic preparation when it comes to listening. Well, personally, I polish my listening skills via YouTube. I would recommend Moist Critical. That dude's like it's like a bonkers vocabulary. And he's got a really clear accent too, so it's easy to just like do what you do and listen to him yapping in the background. And I think it's thanks to all those hours on YouTube that I was able to like breeze through the listening, because the listening section was really like straight to the point and clear cut. And honestly, I don't think that you should go take a listening class, especially not when you've already got like a talking kind of contraption computer at home.
For you?
Well, like just like her, and like for many people, the listening section is like the easiest part. I think everybody can agree on that. Mostly because just like her, the thing that kind of made listening a lot easier for me is because, like, you know, listening a lot, especially on YouTube, I listen like almost even from all the way back. I always listen to like pseudo essays, short little essays on like anything and everything. So I find that I even back then, when my thought process was very limited, I found that the way that they speak in these pseudo essays, these little video essays, were very different from like my usual comedy skits, like offensive comedies that I would watch. So I try to pick up on that, and so listening came pretty naturally for me.
After hearing your series and thoughts, I think I'm kind of weird, because I kind of low key enjoy reading more than listening because I have a problems when I listen to stuff. It's just when I listen, I understand it all, and then I got too much into the conversation and the stories, and I forget to write the answer into the answer sheet, and I just accidentally missed the questions. I got that a lot. Even on the day I went to take the test, I missed like 2 questions because I got too much into the conversation and I forgot to hearing to hear the answers. But fortunately, I think I just got 2 questions wrong. That 2 questions wrong, so my listening score was great. It was better. Yeah. Okay, so we will move on to a very hard skill, I think, for everyone, which is writing. For me, it's hard to spend a lot of time.
You should ask her first.
No.
You should ask her first.
I spent lots of time practicing my writing skill, of course, and I think my writing part 1 was worse than writing part 2 because part 1 is just crazy. There's too much stuff to practice. So I should ask you first. I think your writing is kind of good.
I strike gold with my writing session. Honestly, I've heard that some of the other kids in my test room got processed, but I got a really cool task too, which is to talk about how like the earth is still salvageable after all the damage that humans have done to it. And because I've been like following Andrew Tate and stuff, I heard about his like escapades with Miss Greta Thunberg, so I'm like kind of a bit educated on that matter, so I have stuff to yap about. Honestly, I just bullshit a lot.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And like all of the examples that I listed are things that I knew doesn't happen. Like you just need to sound convicted and just sound like you knew what you were doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I just like list out a bunch of like non-existent examples. And it looks sophisticated. It sounds believable, but it's something that I completely made up on the spot. And I think that's the secret to part 2, I guess. But for the part 1, I mostly just try to like use as many like structures and vocabs as possible. Like I describe a little steep as like unfathomably low or something. Like I just sound very dramatic. I honestly didn't expect that they would buy that, but I am surprised.
Okay, what about you?
Exactly. Here's the thing. I want to bring her point up because here's the harsh truth with like IELTS writing and speaking. Your like knowledge is only secondary to like the language prowess that must be like exhibited in like these types of tests, because unfortunately, because I put too much emphasis on like good points and like good arguments in my writing so I didn't really put too much thought into how I organize my words, how I use like subtly like bounce in and off between like grammar structures and like vocabularies and stuff. So I only got a 7.5. So that is like also a lesson for you guys. If you want to take the IELTS, make sure to know that this is still a language test. So the things that the points or your knowledge is unfortunately only comes second, and then language first. So if you guys want to score a high mark, at first I didn't really recommend this at first, but try to learn the format and try to learn like the certain ways that and certain formulas, certain phrases to write by attending
Learn by heart.
Learn by heart?
Like from IELTS
Intensive sense.
intensive centers, yeah.
So there are 4 points they pointed out when they or they mark your IELTS test is, I remember, which is coherent cohesion, and then grammars, right? Grammars and spellings, and then what is else? Do you guys remember?
Nah.
The other thing is vocabulary, and the last thing I didn't remember.
Coherence, cohesion, grammar, lexical resource.
yeah, lexical resource.
No, lexical resource is
Is-
vocab.
yeah.
And yeah, the last one I forgot.
Me too. But like, I feel like my lexical resources was not as good as those people. I saw people learning vocabulary like crazies. But I'm not stuck at that. But I'm lazy, so I didn't learn lots of like academic words and stuff. All of the academic words and locations and phrase above, I also learned through lots of films and like and books I read. That's all. So it's not really as big as those who get high score in writing. So I tend to focus on others' points, which is coherence and cohesion, grammar and spelling and stuff. I try not to get those things wrong and try to make my points clear, and I think that's all. So I think you should point out some like points that you are good at and then focus on that. Maybe you will get the writing score high. But for part one, I want to ask you about part one. Do you think part one is hard for you?
Who first?
Okay, you first.
Honestly, I do find part one harder than part two because you have to like follow a certain structure and you have to be sure to include all of the points that could like just imperceptibly be pointed out. Honestly, at first when I first took like a mock test 2 weeks before the IELTS, I got like a 6 in task 1. So I went bonkers, dude. And so I had to like take 3 classes along the 2 weeks to learn about the structures and the things that you would need to include in IELTS task 1. Even though honestly, like him, I would normally oppose against like going to these like democratic centers, but they really do like supply you with the necessary knowledge of the structure of the bone as to how to write a complete IELTS task 1. Because I think one of the most common mistakes is like just completely forgetting to delve into the points, and that could easily take a mark or 2 off your overall writing band.
What about you?
To be honest, like task 1 is still very much like an enigma to me. I mean, I know how it works. I know like what to do, but here's the thing. I've always found that my like writing and speaking scores to fluctuate. So I don't have much trust in the criteria of the writing and speaking, but let's save that for later. Because I've always found it to also include like a bit of an emotional aspect to it. Like if it sounds good to the examiner and to that individual examiner, then they would score it high. So I've always had like that thought inside of me, like that little bit of uneasiness that the writings and their criteria is not so clear cut after all. So I would still do like task 1 and task 2 according to how the books taught me, and like add a little bit of my own inside of it. But still, it's a matter of like organizing how you could most efficiently use like simple and combine simple and complex like English inside to like show the examiner like you're him. But still, it's still very much a mystery. I can't really decipher how they mark it.
When I took my IELTS writing test, and that day, like luckily for me, the text too, if I remember, I was writing something about art. Is that should art be exhibited like in outside spaces rather than in museums and stuff? I read. I have to write about that. For me, if that topic was given to me like 2 or 3 years ago, I wouldn't be able to write anything about it because it was art. Art was my enemy. For real. Art is an enemy to me, so I don't have much knowledge, not have much vocabulary to write it. But another thing is really lucky for me is that I've got like 1 month before IELTS test that I got to practice writing with Miss T, and I don't know how and why she gave me lots of topics about art and like 2 or 3 topics, and then when I encountered that topic on that day and took my test, I was relieved. Like at least I got something to yap about. Yeah, and what's for part 1? It was better than I expected because lots of my friends told me that if I took IELTS test on that day, that month, there's high chance that I will get processed on maps. But like I low-key don't that. I don't hate map and process that much. At least they gave you something to write about that. But yeah, but I got table, which is something I haven't really prepared. I didn't write any part 1 paragraphs about table at first at home, and when I saw table, I was kind of like worried. So how do I have to write? What do I have to write? But at least I get through it, and I got pretty decent point at writing test. Although it's not much my expectation, though it's enough to use. Okay, let's move on to speaking. Right? We only have speaking left, right? So I want to ask you first. I think the way you speak is really like appealing, attractive to others. No, it's not. It's not attractive. It's easy to hear stuff, and it's kind of like funny, and it's. I really like to talk to you. So how did you get through your speaking test?
I don't know if I'm flattered or I'm. Okay, whatever. I think for me, speaking, just like I said with the writing, is still very much like a mystery. Because with speaking, there's no clear cut. Like there is absolutely no clear cut way to mark it. Everyone has their own way to speak. Even if you like listen to, even if you notice how the people who are trained to take the IELTS speaking to talk a certain way, they still talk differently from like one people to another. They would inevitably have like subtle differences. That just comes from within. So I decided to just not go with like the how the books teach you, like from intensive English centers, and just be me. So but the funny thing is, this is one of the sections that I'm most disappointed with. Well, this is mostly because of like unfortunately I got an examiner who interrupts me a lot. So he interrupts my flow. That's an external thing that you can't control. But still, I'm still a very big advocate of like just being yourself in speaking, unless of course if English to you is not like a natural thing, then I can suggest taking IELTS courses that specifically fine tunes like what to say in a speaking IELTS speaking to like get the most score. But yeah, I think if you have reached a certain level, then just don't be afraid to be you.
Well, I think speaking is a scam, and it's really luck based. Some of the best English speakers I know got 6.5, and I also got a score that I'm not personally happy with. So for my case, I got interviewed by some like Peter Griffin poker dude, and like he didn't ask anything. He just straight on like droned on about stuff, and I honestly I thought I was doing pretty good. Like okay, yeah. Even though the questions were honestly bad, like dude straight up asked me, "Do you like numbers?" Like what kind of question is that?
I know.
And like I still managed to like yap something about it, like, oh yeah, I hate numbers. Numbers can go lick my balls, and numbers are something that I don't like because I'm like a social major and all that stuff. And dude just stare straight at me like, like I think it could be like pretty discouraging to have a judge like that. And some of my friends also got like really like out of pocket questions like what the rules for when you take out your shoes and leave at the door, what's the name of that rule? Like that's not a rule, that's common sense. Like how do you expect people to just answer academically to questions like that? So honestly, I try to like inject a lot of like advanced vocabulary and descriptive imagery onto my answers, and I still went out with a 7.5. Honestly, I hope that dude trips on the banana or something.
This resonates with me on so many levels. Except my examiner was like a British geezer guy. He's like bald and like scrubby beard and stuff.
My speaking examiner was kind of nice. He was nice. I think he was nice because he didn't interrupt me or anything. His voice was soft and stuff, so I
wish.
I didn't get worried or anything during the speaking test. But he asked me pretty much about questions on the part 2 and part 3s. Part 1 was okay. He asked me about languages and stuff. So I get to flex to him that I know 2 languages and stuff. But like at part 2, he asked me, "Do you like children?" It's like I don't specifically hate or something, but
that could go very wrong.
Yeah, I think but I don't have such a funny character or humorous character or soft character and stuff to work with children. And then he asked me something about raising a child. Is it better is it better for a father or a mother to raise a child? He asked me those questions, and I was like, why? I'm just like 17 at that time, so how could I like answer those questions and stuff? So I think the best way to learn speaking is to speak a lot, like speak to yourself, speak to your friends, speak to your families and stuff, and then your speaking will gradually goes up. And there's something about speaking that people talk about a lot, which is IELTS forecast. Do you guys believe or do you guys like practice on that? For me, I don't at all. I didn't read any of the forecast because like when I opened the forecast, I saw the first question and like, do you like space? Or for the question, what TV shows do you like? I think it was kind of good for me, so I just skipped the forecast, and I was too lazy, like preparing like 100 plus topics at a time. It was too devastating. I don't have enough time to do that. But I don't know why my friends, they prepare all the topic on the forecast. They prepare ahead at home. They kind of note it out, and then they like kind of learn it by heart. I think it's really not so okay to do that. Yeah, I think so.
Does any of the forecast questions actually show up in like later days though?
I don't know. I didn't catch up any new IELTS information now. I heard that they have changed the format so that they don't have people don't believe in the forecast anymore. I think so. But like you guys didn't use the forecast to study, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know forecast existed. I knew what a forecast is like right after I took the IELTS.
I just learned about it like 2 minutes ago.
You guys didn't know about it?
No. It sounds so.
Forecast was going like crazy in my class. There are IELTS groups, IELTS pages and stuff. They posted the forecast, and then my friend just like was crazy about the forecast. They every day they took out the forecast and then they read the question and then they answered the questions. The moment I opened the forecast, I know it's not for me. I'm too lazy to prepare all of that questions.
I don't think the problem is because of laziness. I think it's just very.
I think it's not.
It defeats the entire purpose. I mean, the forecast thingy, even if it's true, even if like it shows up, still it's a forecast. It's used to show like hundreds of like possibilities that you cannot possibly like go in depth. Like this is where like your knowledge comes in. I think this is where like you just have to be knowledgeable about like social subjects that are going on in society. So I don't think forecast is like too useful, because like still it's you, because and you're not gonna be able to prepare like 100 200 subjects that are not even gonna that is not even gonna be like 100% gonna show up in like your test. It's gonna be like a gamble. Imagine like gambling 1 in 200. that's a real gambler's attitude.
I think it's like forecast like a crap or something. I don't know, because like even if maybe you get the topic that you have prepared, okay, good for you, you're lucky. But like after the IELTS test, what you got? Like you just know how to talk about that. You just know how to answer. Do you like space? Or you just know how to answer. What is that? What is that? When is that? So how can you use like English in your real life? How can you talk to your friends and talk about stuff like this naturally if you just learn English by heart like that? It's like a crap for you. If you learn IELTS in that way, even if you got 8.0 or 8.5 overall score, you still could not use English in your daily life, in your work, in your school and stuff. So what's the point of learning English at all? English is just a language, right? You just use it to research, to learn and stuff. Okay, so I think we have like got through all the 4 skills of IELTS. So I think all the audience, they have maybe took something from us, like some tips and stuff. So I'm gonna ask you one thing. I think it's really easy. That do you think IELTS has lots of like advantages now? You can get to apply to stuff in school. You think it's
Yeah, certainly. It does give you an edge whenever it comes to applications, like especially university or job applications. And I think IELTS honestly like kind of too overhyped, because at the end of the day it's still just an English test. And to use that as a basis to judge like an entire person's portfolio is just not feasible.
I think like this is unfortunately one of the traps that like Vietnam has fallen into. I feel like they, just like Thuang said, they've glorified IELTS a little too much, which I've seen this mindset in my class before. They don't see English as like a tool. They see English as
a subject,
as IELTS, as the IELTS.
Okay.
And they would view IELTS in a way that like something that covers like everything that you have in here. And I don't think that's true. Like still IELTS is, no matter how much knowledge that goes into like no matter how much like skill that you need to be able to like get to the level of English that is proficient enough, IELTS is still primarily like a language test, no more, no less. So I think we should just view this as solely that, your ability to speak a language, no more.
I think IELTS is just like a part of you in your journey to get like to enroll in some universities and stuff. I don't feel okay. I cannot say that IELTS is not important, but it's not important to the point that you have to study to the death of to the death for the IELTS test. But surely, if you got IELTS, you will. In my year, I don't know what it will be in your in next year, because education has changed a lot. But in my school year, in the last few months. I got in a lot of university because I got high in my IELTS score, which is kind of a plus for me. But I think it's just a plus because I still have to develop on other parts, like get high scores in my high school, my university entrance test and stuff. And also, if you have to prepare your profile for the application of universities, especially studying overseas, you have to do more than just IELTS. IELTS is just a certificate to kind of know how your English is kind of be, and you also have to work on many things else, like your admission essay, your profile, your lots of more stuff. IELTS just a plus, not just everything you have to get in your life. Okay. I think we have kind of discussed throughout today, and I want to ask you one more last things. Is that how did you guys feel about the open talk today, about discussion and stuff?
It's fun. Pretty good. I mean, are we out of time?
No, we
5
got
more minutes.
5 more minutes. Because I still have a lot of things to say, mostly just regarding like society's opinions.
Just say.
You
If
sure?
you have, just try to keep it.
Yeah, go off, man.
All right. I feel like this IELTS thingy has gotten so deeply rooted into like the acceptance and achievements culture in like Vietnam that I feel like it's gotten to a point where IELTS is like a gauge of your hierarchy. I feel like because like I don't know, man. The peer pressure is insane with IELTS. I mean, it's perfectly tangible, right? I've unfortunately been like a victim of it. Never again. I've wised up, but still, I feel like it just boils down to like seeing IELTS or English as a whole as a tool, more or less, and everything that comes out of you in the English language is from like within. It's what makes people like attracted to you or to you as a person. That comes from within. That can't be taught. That comes from like your life experience and stuff. So using IELTS as like this gauge is bollocks. I don't agree with that, which unfortunately is something that a lot of Vietnamese people is stuck with. I think this also has a lot to do with our culture, something that we like academic achievements culture, something that we've not been able to get rid of for many decades. So I think it'll take quite a while for the Vietnamese mindset of like achievements and academic achievements as a whole to progress. But this is like another topic for another day.
I think at the end of the day, the test is just a test. The score is just a score. What's important is like what have you learned, like how like the score didn't define it do not define who you are, and people have no right to judge you just by seeing your score. I'm not saying IELTS, but other score too, like your school grade, your high school, your university entrance exam and stuff. It's just a score. It's just a paper test, and it's not. It doesn't show who you truly are, how much knowledge you have gained, and how kind you are, or how good a person you are. It didn't define that, right?
Yeah.
So, you have any opinion?
I think this is more of like an IELTS bashing session, but I enjoyed it.
We didn't bashing it. We just pointing out that what IELTS actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a test.
It didn't define
That's
who
all.
you are. And learning English is just a journey of you gaining that knowledge, gaining that experiences, and using English as a tool to get access to the right information for you to improve yourself, not just in skills, in English, in knowledge, in also building who you are, personal growth after all. Yeah, so I think we can wrap up the Open Talk episode 16 today. So I hope that all of you guys, all of the audience out there, have enjoyed our session today, and we hope that if we might say something that you don't agree with or else, please don't take it too offensive and stuff, because it is just our ideas, our opinion on the IELTS test. I hope you guys can learn and can acquire more POV of everything around IELTS, like all of the stuff we have talked today, and just think of it as our POV, and you guys could like kind of take it and experiences and use it for your life, so you can feel a lot more less pressure and less stress about the IELTS score, and also finding your own way in your journey of learning English. And remember that the journey of learning English is not just English, it's about your knowledge, about your personal growth, about what you are, building your own self, finding your inner self and stuff. It's not just English. Okay, thank you for your listening, and thank you to our two lovely guests today, and goodbye. See you next week.